everyone can get so caught up in living their daily life and paying your bills that it's kind of like, boiling a frog in a pot, that like if you're in Canada, you're just trying to survive. So they could be debasing the currency and things around you are getting expensive, but you don't realize your purchasing power measured against things like the US dollar or the real or the euro could be losing value even faster, so that you're trapped in a country. You can't even get out if you want to get out, because your net worth and measured against other things or other places, whether you want to go to Singapore or Dubai or somewhere in the US or South America, like it could be that what you thought you had in purchasing power when you get the Canadian dollars to sell your assets and then look around the world, because you've been living in this weird place where you're not really universally using the same currency, you could maybe get almost nothing.
No,
that's the sad part. And we saw that because when that happened to our relatives in Croatia, when the hyperinflation hit in the 1990s, that's basically what happened. Mm-hmm. The middle class lost any of their purchasing power.
Well, I was surprised to see that how poorly our Canadian dollar is done against the Mexican peso. Like I think most Canadians will know, kind of monitor the US dollar a little bit, like the strength against the US dollar. Right. But when to look at the Mexican peso and see that we've done poorly against Mexican peso, that surprises people. It surprised me when I looked at it. And then I recently...
Especially growing up in the 90s, because we were like dominating the Mexican peso.
And last month I had to go get a bunch of a chunk of euros and send it over to Europe.
Yeah. What was the exchange?
I forget the number, but it was 10% worse than last year.
Yeah. Oof.
And not even last year, last summer. It was 10% worse. I remember looking, I'm like, this sucks. No, not 1.5.
1.6.
Yeah, well, I think it's something like 1.6 something. I think, no, maybe 1.6. Yeah, I forget. Anyways, but it was bad. And I'm like, and so I looked up the chart. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
That's the frog boiling in the pot to me.
I know, but you don't see it because you're not seeing it every day. And that.
And then you put your trust in the people running the currency in the country. But if they really break that trust and print a lot of money and do these deficits like they've been talking about, doesn't matter which government we decided, right? Then all of a sudden they're ripping you off and they're trapping you in the country. And a lot of these politicians have assets in other countries. And so they themselves are not trapped in the country, but they're pulling the strings in the country, and like they don't have their assets in the country that are pulling the strings on. You're like, wait a second, what the hell is going on here? It's kind of like the whole agreement that you had going to school, getting the good job. It's like, oh, was I just like fed this line? Like I make an income that is debased. Then when the money I do get, I have to pay tax on it. Like we said, income tax, consumption tax, alcohol tax, gasoline tax, carbon tax, all these taxes. Like what's really left for you?
There isn't a lot of tax.
There's a crazy amount of tax. But the fact that the $100 that I earned in that example is taxed, and what's left, if you earn it from me, it's taxed again, Nick.
So and yes, I understand. But there's an interesting, what's recently happened. If you look at what happened in New York, Mamdani just came out and they want to increase property taxes, right? And if you look at Chow just said the same thing. Hers was a few weeks ago, last month, whatever. They want to increase property taxes in Toronto again to make their budget. So they're always increasing tax. And then if you look at the signposts, so if you look at that, like we mentioned, the unrealized capital gains tax, that
is that Denmark, Norway? Netherlands.
I would say Netherlands. But I could be wrong. But I forget.
That's awesome.
But it's only past. It's past one layer of government. But it's like basically like the House and the Senate type thing. But they've basically passed the House, but the Senate's controlled by the same party, so they do expect it to pass. So, but it hasn't officially passed both levels yet. But it has passed one. But they're both
unrealized.
The same party. Unrealized capital gains. Those are signposts, because very often something that happens elsewhere when that type of thing comes in, it's kind of like it's like a trial almost. Like other countries are looking like, oh, how can we kind of get away with this too? Because look what happened with recently when in Canada when they announced the increase in capital gains tax here. Right, it wasn't unrealized capital gains,
people scrambled.
But they were looking at increasing capital gains tax here too. So it's like the number one solution. Remember, the government has no money. That's what people don't realize. They're like, well, the government is funding. Yeah. The government has zero money. Yeah. It only has taxpayers' money.
I saw somebody say that. They said, oh, we're watching the Olympics. It's like free on CBC. Yes. I'm like, CBC is not free for anyone listening. Yeah. It's not free.
You pay for it.
You pay. We all pay for it.
It's probably the worst deal you get with the amount you pay and what the amount you actually watch on CBC.
But that just goes to like how thick the the scam is. It's like people don't even realize. They just say these things like the government will take care of it. It's like, well, where does the government get money? It's going to take it away from one person and disincentivize them from really working harder because it's taking away from them. We're literally watching Atlas Shrugged, especially with the unrealized capital gains tax that we're talking about in the Netherlands. Atlas Shrugged, that book.
Yeah.
We're literally watching it play out in real time.
Yeah, and for real estate investors, the property tax thing and the jurisdictional risk is something that has grown over time. Like when we started doing this, whatever, was it 2008, 2006?
2008.
When we started doing it then, that
2007 was our first full year, but we hadn't incorporated Rockstar. That's when we were at another brokerage.
Yeah, end of 2006 was when we started, like September, October.
Yeah.
So, and then we...
holy shit, that means it's been 20 years, no?
Yeah, later this year.
This fall.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
A lot of hair loss since then.
Holy shit. A lot.
But
I still have a lot of hair on my hands, though. Transplanted from my hands to my head.
Jeez. But the investors have to pay attention to jurisdictional risk. Yeah. Because if you're in a city, I mean,
but where's the jurisdiction you go? There's no jurisdiction to go to.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, there could be some that are better than others, even short term.
Absolutely.
But it's something that you got to be aware of.